Commander Jiho Park stared at the communication screen in his office on Luna Station. The message had arrived just minutes ago, and he still could not believe what he was seeing. The alien faces on the screen looked nothing like humans. Their skin was gray and rough like stone. Their eyes were large and completely black. When they spoke, their voices sounded like metal scraping against metal. "People of Earth," the alien leader said. "I am Supreme Chancellor Kethmore of the Vexari Empire. We have watched your species spread across the stars like a disease. You have taken 47 star systems in only 200 years. This cannot continue." Jiho felt his hands shake as he listened. He had always known this day might come. Humanity had been expanding into space faster than any other known species. They built colonies on every world they could find. They mined asteroids and built space stations. They were always moving, always growing. "You will give up all colonies beyond your home system," the alien continued. "You will submit to Vexari rule. You have 30 of your Earth days to decide. If you refuse, we will destroy every human world and every human life. We have done this to 12 other species. They all chose to submit. You would be wise to do the same." The message ended. Jiho sat in silence for a long moment. Then he pressed the emergency button on his desk. Red lights flashed throughout Luna Station. All department heads were to report to the main conference room immediately. Dr. So-Young Kim was the first to arrive. She was Earth's best expert on alien life. She had studied every piece of information humanity had gathered about other species in the galaxy. Her face was pale when she entered the room. "You got the message too?" Jiho asked. "Everyone did," So-Young replied. "They broadcast it to every human world at the same time. There are riots starting on some colonies. People are scared." More officers entered the room. Captain Taemin Lee came in wearing his dress uniform. He commanded the biggest warship in Earth's fleet. Admiral Byung-ho Nam followed him. The admiral was old but still strong. He had fought in the Mars Rebellion 20 years ago. President Hye-jin Choi joined the meeting by video link from Earth. Her office looked busy behind her. People were running back and forth with papers and data pads. "What do we know about these Vexari?" the president asked. So-Young stood up and activated the main display. Images of alien ships appeared on the screen. "They control this entire section of the galaxy," she said. 12 different alien species serve them. Their technology is much more advanced than ours. Their ships are bigger and their weapons are stronger." "How much stronger?" Captain Taemin asked. "Our best estimates say their ships are 10 times more powerful than ours," So-Young continued. "They have energy shields that can stop our weapons. Their plasma cannons can destroy our ships with one hit. In a direct fight, we would lose badly." "What about their numbers?" Admiral Nam asked. "We think they have over 10,000 warships. We have less than 500. So-Young looked around the room. Every species they have fought surrendered within weeks. Most surrendered immediately. The room fell quiet. Everyone understood what the numbers meant. Humanity could not win a war against the Vexari Empire. But surrender meant the end of human freedom. Earth would become just another slave world in an alien empire. "What are our options?" President Choi asked. Admiral Nam cleared his throat. "We have been preparing for this possibility for decades. Project Phoenix has been developing new weapons and strategies. We always knew we might face a superior enemy someday." "What is Project Phoenix?" the president asked. "Classified weapons." "Development," the admiral replied. "Technologies that break the normal rules of war. Things the aliens have never seen before." Captain Taemin leaned forward. "With respect, Admiral, even our secret weapons won't matter against those numbers. We need to find another way." "There is no other way," Jiho said quietly. "Look at what they did to the other species. Complete submission or total destruction. They don't negotiate, they don't compromise." Dr. So-Young pulled up new images on the display. These showed alien worlds under Vexari control. The cities looked like prisons. The people moved slowly like they had given up hope. "The Vexari don't just conquer," she explained. "They break the spirit of every species they control. They take the best worlds for themselves. They use other species as workers and soldiers. Children are taken from their families to serve the Empire. President Choi closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, her expression had changed. She looked determined instead of worried. "How long would it take them to reach Earth if we refuse?" she asked. "Their main fleet is about 6 months away," Admiral Nam answered. "But they have advanced forces that could be here in weeks." "And if we fight?" "We would lose," Captain Taman said honestly. "But we might hurt them first. We might make them pay a price for victory." "Sometimes the price is more important than the victory," Jiho said. "If we make it cost them enough, maybe they'll think twice before attacking the next species." President Choi nodded slowly. "Admiral Nam, I want you to activate Project Phoenix immediately. Prepare every ship we have for war. Captain Lee, start moving our fleet to defensive positions. Dr. Kim, I need you to study everything we know about Vexari technology. Find weaknesses." "What should I tell the colonies?" Jiho asked. "Tell them the truth," the president replied. "We will not surrender. We will not kneel to alien masters. If they want to destroy humanity, they will have to fight for it." Admiral Nam smiled for the first time since the meeting began. "I'll start the preparations immediately. The aliens expect us to be afraid. They expect us to surrender like all the others. They're going to be surprised." "What makes you so confident?" President Choi asked. "Because they made one critical mistake," the admiral replied. "They studied our expansion. They studied our technology. They studied our military. But they never studied our history. If they had, they would know that humans fight hardest when they have no choice. When you corner a dangerous animal, it doesn't become weaker. It becomes deadly." The meeting ended with everyone knowing what came next. In 30 days, humanity would give the Vexari Empire their answer. It would not be the answer the aliens expected. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the Vexari would face a species that chose to fight rather than surrender. The war was coming, and humanity would be ready. Captain Jinai Seo stood on the bridge of her ship, the UES Courage watching the space around Proxima Centauri on the main screen. Her small patrol fleet had been waiting here for 3 weeks. Earth Command had told her the aliens would come here first. They were right. The Vexari ships appeared without warning. One moment the space was empty. The next moment 5 massive alien warships hung in the darkness. Each ship was twice the size of Jinai's vessel. Their hulls were black and covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow with their own light. "Captain, we're getting a message from the lead ship," her communications officer reported. "Put it on screen," Jinai ordered. The alien face that appeared looked different from the one in the ultimatum. This one had scars across its gray skin. Its black eyes stared directly at Jinai with what looked like boredom. "Human vessel," the alien said in broken English. "I am War Leader Vexthon of the Vexari Imperial Fleet. You will surrender immediately and prepare for boarding. Resistance is useless." Jinai looked around her bridge. Her crew was young but well-trained. They had all volunteered to be here, knowing they might not go home. She stepped forward so the alien could see her clearly. "War Leader Vexathon," she replied. "I am Captain Jinai Seo of the United Earthship Courage. I have Earth's official response to your Empire's demands." The alien leaned forward with interest. "You will surrender?" Jinai smiled coldly. "Come and take it." The alien's expression changed from boredom to confusion, then to anger. "You choose death over submission? Your species is more foolish than we thought." "We'll see who's foolish," Jinai replied, then cut the communication. The battle began immediately. The Vexari ships opened fire with their plasma cannons. Bright green energy beams lanced across space toward the human ships. Jinai's fleet scattered, using the asteroids in the system to hide. "Their shots are going right through our shields," her weapons officer reported. "Our defenses are useless against their weapons." "Expected," Jinai replied. "Execute Plan Bravo. All ships attack Pattern Delta." The human ships came out from behind the asteroids firing everything they had. Kinetic weapons, missiles, and energy beams all struck the alien vessels. The attacks bounced harmlessly off the Vexari energy shields. No damage to enemy ships. the weapons officer reported. Their shields are holding. War leader Vexthon appeared, on screen again. You see, your weapons cannot harm us. Surrender now and we will make your deaths quick. But Jinne was watching her tactical display carefully. The alien ships were moving into exactly the formation Earth Command had predicted. They were confident in their shields and superior firepower. They had no idea what was coming. Chief Engineer Wansik Jung to bridge, came a voice over the intercom. Go ahead, Chief, Jinne replied. Quantum disruptor mines are armed and ready. Captain, all ships report ready for activation. Jinne watched as the alien ships moved closer, trying to surround her fleet. They were now in the perfect position. All ships, activate disruptors on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. The space around the battle suddenly filled with strange purple energy. The quantum disruptor mines had been floating in space for weeks, invisible to alien sensors. They were one of Project Phoenix's secret weapons. Instead of hitting enemy shields from outside, they phase-shifted through the barriers and exploded inside the alien ships. The lead Vexari vessel shuddered as explosions tore through its hull. Atmosphere vented into space through dozens of holes. Emergency lights flashed on alien ships as their crews tried to understand what was happening. Impossible, War Leader Vexthon shouted over the communication channel. Your primitive weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Surprise, Jinne replied. We're not as primitive as you thought. 2 more Vexari ships took critical damage as additional mines activated. One ship began spinning out of control, its engines destroyed. Another ship's main weapon exploded in a chain reaction that split the vessel in half. But the battle was far from over. The remaining alien ships adapted. Quickly, they began firing in all directions, trying to destroy the invisible mines. Their plasma cannons swept through space, hunting for threats they couldn't see. Captain, we're taking heavy fire, her helm officer reported. The Defender just lost main engines. The Guardian is venting atmosphere. Jinne knew her small fleet couldn't win a long battle. The aliens still had superior numbers and firepower, but that wasn't the point. The point was to show them that humans would fight back. All ships execute withdrawal plan Charlie. Set course for the jump point. The human ships began retreating, but they didn't run in panic. They moved in careful formation, covering each other as they fell back. When alien ships tried to follow too closely, hidden mines would activate and force them back. War Leader Vexthon's ship limped after them, trailing debris and atmosphere. On the communication screen, the alien leader looked shocked and angry. This is not possible, he kept repeating. No primitive species has ever drawn Vexari blood. How did you penetrate our shields? We learned from your mistakes, Jinne replied as her ship reached the jump point. You thought you knew everything about us. You were wrong. As the human fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Jinne opened a channel to all ships in the system, including the aliens. This is Captain Jinne Seo to all Vexari forces. Take this message back to your empire. Humanity does not surrender. We do not kneel. You wanted to see what humans do when threatened with extinction. Now you know. We fight. Back. The human ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving the aliens alone with their damaged vessels and wounded pride. Meanwhile, throughout human space, Colonel Yujin Han was leading the great evacuation. As alien forces advanced, human colonies packed up everything valuable and prepared to leave. But they didn't just run away. Remember the plan? Colonel Han told his officers. Nothing of value gets left behind. If we can't take it with us, we destroy it. Mining stations exploded as their crews evacuated. Orbital platforms were scuttled rather than captured. Even terraforming equipment was destroyed. The humans were following an ancient Earth strategy, scorched Earth. If they had to retreat, they would make sure the invaders gained nothing. On Earth, President Hae-Jin Choi addressed the human worlds. Her face appeared on screens across 47 star systems. Citizens of humanity, she began. The Vexari Empire expected us to surrender without a fight. They believed we would choose slavery over freedom. Today, Captain Seo and her brave crew proved them wrong. We have drawn first blood in this war. The president paused, looking directly into the camera. The aliens wanted to see what humans do when cornered. They wanted to test our resolve. Now they'll learn what their predecessors on Earth learned long ago. When you threaten our families, our freedom, and our future, we don't become weaker. We become dangerous. Across human space, the message was clear. The war had begun, and humanity would not go quietly into slavery. 6 months had passed since the first battle at Proxima Centauri. The war was not going as the Vexari Empire had expected. General Dong Hyun Kang stood in the command center of the secret military base on asteroid XK-739, watching the tactical display with satisfaction. "Report from the Ghost Fleet," his aide announced. "Commander Seok Jin Yoon has successfully hit 3 more Vexari supply convoys. No human losses." "Excellent," General Kang replied. "What's the alien response?" "They're pulling ships from the front lines to protect their supply routes. War leader Vexthon has requested additional forces from the Empire." General Kang smiled. This was exactly what he had hoped for. Traditional space warfare involved large fleets meeting in open battle. The stronger force would win through superior numbers and firepower. But humans had abandoned traditional warfare completely. Instead of fighting fleet against fleet, human ships struck from hiding places throughout space. They used asteroid fields as cover. They hid near gas giants where sensors couldn't detect them. They attacked supply lines instead of military targets. The Vexari called these tactics dishonorable, but they were devastatingly effective. Commander Seok Jin Yoon commanded the most famous human unit, the Ghost Fleet. These ships had been modified to look like space debris on alien sensors. They could hide in plain sight, appearing to be nothing more than floating rocks or metal scraps. "Ghost Leader to Base Command," Yoon's voice crackled over the communication system. "We've identified a major alien convoy heading for the Kepler system, requesting permission to engage." "Permission granted, Ghost Leader. Show them what happens when they enter human space." 3 hours later, the alien convoy was destroyed. 12 Vexari transport ships and their escorts were eliminated without the humans losing a single vessel. The aliens never even saw their attackers coming. On the research station hidden in the Crab Nebula, Dr. Minseo Park was working on humanity's latest secret weapon. The laboratory was filled with captured alien technology and human-built improvements. "We've done it," she announced to her team. "The hybrid weapon system is ready for testing." The new weapons combined Vexari energy technology with human engineering. They were more powerful than anything either species had built alone. But more importantly, they could punch through alien shields because they used the same energy frequency as Vexari systems. "How many ships can we outfit?" asked her assistant. 50 ships by the end of the month," Dr. Park replied. 100 by the end of next month. The aliens won't know what hit them. The first test came during the Battle of New Singapore. Admiral Subin Lim commanded a small human fleet against a much larger Vexari force. The aliens expected an easy victory. They had fought humans for 6 months and learned to respect human tactics, but they still believed their technology was superior. "Human fleet, you are outnumbered 3-1, the alien commander broadcast. "Surrender and your deaths will be swift." "Negative," Admiral Lim replied. "All ships, engage the enemy. Show them our new toys." The human ships opened fire with their new hybrid weapons. The energy beams looked different from normal human weapons. They glowed with the same purple light as Vexari plasma cannons, but they were brighter and more focused. The alien ships tried to raise their shields, but the human weapons passed right through them. For the first time in the war, Vexari vessels exploded under human fire. The alien formation scattered in confusion as their supposedly invulnerable ships began dying. "Impossible," the alien commander screamed. "How are you penetrating our defenses?" "We learned from you," Admiral Lim replied calmly. "Then we improved on your design. Your shields work perfectly against Vexari weapons. They don't work against hybrid human Vexari weapons." The battle turned into a rout. The alien fleet retreated, leaving behind 7 destroyed ships and hundreds of dead Vexari warriors. News of the victory spread quickly through both human and alien space. On Earth, President Hye-jin Choi addressed the nation once again. "My fellow humans," she began, For 6 months, the Vexari Empire has learned that humanity will not surrender. Today they learned something new. We are not just survivors. We are innovators. We take their technology and make it better. We study their tactics and find ways to beat them. But the real turning point came when Admiral Subin Lim proposed the most daring operation of the war, an attack on the Vexari fortress, world of Kethnara. You want to attack a core world of their empire? General Kang asked during the planning meeting. That's suicide. Not if we do it right, Admiral Lim replied. She activated the tactical display showing the Kethnara system. We captured a Vexari heavy cruiser last month. My team has been repairing it and learning how it works. What are you proposing? We disguised the cruiser as a damaged Vexari ship returning from battle. We load it with our best special forces troops. Once we're inside their defenses, we strike at their command center and steal their intelligence files. Commander Seokjin Yoon, who had been listening quietly, leaned forward. It's crazy enough that it might work. The aliens would never expect us to attack one of their core worlds. The mission launched 2 weeks later. The captured Vexari cruiser, now renamed the UES Trojan Horse, approached Kethnara broadcasting alien distress signals. To the Fortress World sensors, it looked like a damaged warship limping home from the front lines. This is Battle Commander. Zexthal requesting immediate docking, Admiral Lim said in perfect Vexari language. Dr. So Young Kim had spent months teaching the human officers to speak like aliens. Permission granted, Battle Commander. Proceed to Docking Bay 7. The disguised human ship docked with the alien space station. As soon as the airlocks opened, Colonel Yujin Han led 50 human commandos into the heart of the Vexari fortress. The aliens were caught completely off guard. Their security was designed to keep enemies out, not to stop attackers who had already gotten inside. The human soldiers moved through the station like ghosts, using their knowledge of alien technology to bypass security systems. Command center, secured, Colonel Han reported. Beginning data extraction now. For 6 hours, the human team downloaded every piece of intelligence they could find: military codes, fleet positions, supply schedules, and most importantly, detailed information about the Vexari Empire's political structure. When Vexari security finally realized what was happening, the humans were already gone. The UES Trojan Horse undocked and jumped to hyperspace before the aliens could react. The intelligence gathered during the raid changed everything. Humanity now knew where every major Vexari fleet was positioned. They knew which alien species were unhappy under Vexari rule. Most importantly, they knew that the Empire was not as united as it appeared. 3 of the member species are considering rebellion, Dr. So Young Kim reported after analyzing the stolen data. The Vexari have been demanding more troops and resources for the war against us. Their allies are getting tired of the cost. General Kang studied the information with growing excitement. If we can turn some of their allies against them, the Empire could collapse from within, Admiral Lim finished. We just need to show them that the Vexari can be beaten. War leader Vexthan, meanwhile, faced Supreme Chancellor Kethmore's anger over the security breach. How did primitive humans infiltrate our most secure facility? The Chancellor demanded. They used our own ship against us, Vexthan replied. Their tactics continue to evolve. They learn from every battle. Then stop them from learning, destroy their fleets. It's not that simple. They don't fight like any species we've faced before. They strike from hiding, retreat when outnumbered, and adapt to everything we do. Every time we think we understand their strategy, they change it. The Chancellor's eyes blazed with fury. Then change our strategy. Deploy more ships, use different tactics. We have deployed more ships. We have tried different tactics, but they keep evolving faster than we can adapt. And now our allies are asking questions about why this war is taking so long. For the first time in Vexari history, an enemy had not only refused to surrender, but was actually winning the war. 2 years after the war began, Fleet Admiral Jae Sung Choi stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, watching as human ships moved into attack formation above the alien world of Zerion Prime. The situation had changed completely since the early days of desperate defense. Now humanity was on the attack. All ships report ready, Admiral, his communications officer announced. Very good. Captain Hyunwoo Kim, is your special weapon ready? On the tactical screen, Captain Kim's ship, the UES Breakthrough, moved into position near Xerion's largest moon. Gravity manipulators are online, Admiral. We can begin the operation whenever you're ready. Admiral Choi looked at the alien fleet, defending the planet. 50 Vexari warships hung in space, their weapons trained on the approaching human forces. 2 years ago, this would have been an impossible fight for humanity. Now it was just another day's work. Begin Operation Moonfall, the Admiral ordered. Captain Kim's ship fired a strange purple beam at the moon's surface. The gravity manipulator was another product of human ingenuity combined with stolen alien technology. It could change the gravitational forces acting on large objects. Slowly, the moon began to move out of its orbit. At first, the change was barely visible, but as the gravity beam continued to pull, the massive rock picked up speed. Soon it was racing toward the planet at incredible velocity. What are they doing? The Vexari fleet commander demanded over the open communication channel. That's not a weapon, that's madness. Admiral, the alien fleet is moving to intercept the moon, the tactical officer reported. Let them try, Admiral Choi replied calmly. The Vexari ships fired everything they had at the approaching moon. Plasma cannons and energy beams struck the rocky surface, blasting craters and sending debris flying. But the moon was simply too large. Even their most powerful weapons could not destroy something that massive. They're trying to change the moon's course with their tractor beams, Captain Kim reported. All ships engage the alien fleet. Don't let them stop our little surprise. The human fleet attacked the Vexari ships while they were focused on the moon. The aliens found themselves caught between two threats. If they fought the human ships, the moon would continue on its path toward their fleet. If they tried to stop the moon, the human ships would destroy them. War leader Vexthan, commanding the alien defense, made the only choice he could. All ships retreat to minimum safe distance. We cannot stop both threats. The Vexari fleet scattered as the moon approached, but they were too slow. The massive rock, now moving at nearly the speed of light thanks to the gravity manipulators, slammed into 3 alien ships. The impact was so violent that it created a new asteroid field where the ships had been. Direct hit, Captain Kim reported with satisfaction. 3 enemy vessels completely destroyed. The remaining Vexari ships retreated to the far side of the solar system. The moon, its course changed by the impacts, began falling toward the planet's surface. Admiral, the moon is going to hit the planet, the tactical officer said with concern. No, it's not, Admiral Choi replied. Captain Kim, Phase 2. The gravity manipulator fired again, this time pushing instead of pulling. The moon's course changed again, sending it past the planet and out into deep space. The demonstration was complete. Humanity had just used a celestial body as a weapon. Attention Vexari forces, Admiral Choi broadcast to the alien fleet. This is what happens when you underestimate human ingenuity. We can turn your own solar system against you. Surrender now or face the consequences. The Vexari fleet commander's voice shook when he replied. We need to consult with higher command. You have 1 hour, Admiral Choi said, then cut the communication. News of the Battle of Xerion Prime spread throughout the galaxy within days. The idea that humans could weaponize moons and planets terrified every alien species. 3 more Vexari worlds surrendered without a fight, rather than risk facing similar tactics. On the liberated world of Kepler Station, Colonel Eun-Young Sohn was leading the rescue of human prisoners. The prison camp had held over 5,000 humans captured during the early months of the war. The prisoners are in bad shape, her medical officer reported. The aliens didn't torture them, but they didn't feed them well either. Many are suffering from malnutrition. Get them medical treatment immediately, Colonel Sohn ordered, and see if any of them have useful intelligence about alien operations. Among the rescued prisoners was Dr. Tae Ho Min, a weapons researcher, who had been captured when his colony was overrun. His information proved invaluable. The Vexari are having supply problems, he told Colonel Sohn. I overheard the guards talking. Their member species are getting tired of providing ships and soldiers for this war. Some of them want to make peace with humanity. Which species? The Kalani and the Brithari definitely. Maybe the Zephyrians too. They've lost a lot of ships fighting us, and they're not getting much in return. This intelligence matched what human spies had been reporting from across the Empire. The Vexari's forced alliance was starting to crack under the pressure of the war. President He Jin-choi received a secret message from the Centauri Republic, one of the few neutral powers in the galaxy. The Vexari have asked us to arrange peace talks, Ambassador Chen Wei reported. They're offering to return to pre-war borders. Absolutely not, President Choi replied immediately. They started this war by demanding our surrender. Now that they're losing, they want to negotiate? Tell them we'll talk when they're ready to discuss their surrender, not ours. The president's rejection shocked the galactic diplomatic community. No species had ever rejected a Vexari peace offer before. But humanity was not like the other species the Empire had fought. Supreme Chancellor Kethmore faced growing opposition within his own government. 3 member species had formally complained about the cost of the war. The Kalani ambassador had even suggested that perhaps it was time to reconsider their alliance with the Vexari. We are losing this war, Battle Commander Zexthal reported during a high-level military meeting. The humans have captured or destroyed over half our fleet. Their tactics continue to evolve. Now they're using gravitational weapons we cannot defend against. What do you recommend? The Chancellor asked. Full mobilization. Draft every able-bodied Vexari into military service. Conscript ships from all member species. We need to overwhelm them with numbers. And if our allies refuse, then we make them comply by force. But that decision would prove to be the Empire's final mistake. When Vexari warships arrived at Kalani worlds to conscript their fleet, the Kalani government declared independence from the Empire. The Brithari and Zephyrians quickly followed suit. The Empire is falling apart, Dr. So-Young Kim reported to Earth Command. 3 species have declared independence, 2 more are considering it. The Vexari are fighting a civil war and a war against us at the same time. Fleet Admiral Jae-Sung Choi saw the opportunity immediately. Signal all human fleets, we're going. To end this war, target every remaining Vexari military base. It's time to bring the fight to their homeworlds. The final offensive began with simultaneous attacks on 12 Vexari systems. Human fleets, now equipped with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy, struck at the heart of alien space. The Vexari Empire, weakened by rebellion and demoralized by 2 years of defeats, could not mount an effective defense. War leader Vexathon, his fleet reduced to a few dozen ships, made one last desperate stand at the Vexari border world of Terminus. But even he knew it was hopeless. How did this happen? He asked his aide as human ships surrounded his position. We were the greatest military power in the galaxy. We had conquered 12 species. How did these primitive humans defeat us? Perhaps, his aide said quietly. They were never as primitive as we believed. The last battle of the war was about to begin, but everyone knew it was already over. The Vexari Empire had learned too late that forcing humanity into war was the greatest mistake in their long history of conquest. Admiral Jiho Park stood on the bridge of the UES Liberation as the human fleet approached Dominion Prime, the capital world of the Vexari Empire. 3 years had passed since the aliens had delivered their ultimatum to humanity. Now the tables had completely turned. Long-range sensors show minimal defensive forces around the planet, his tactical officer reported. Maybe 20 ships. All of them look damaged. Any response to our communication requests? Admiral Park asked. Supreme Chancellor Kethmore is requesting permission to speak with you directly, sir. Put him through. The main screen flickered to life, showing the alien leader who had started this war. Kethmore looked very different now. His gray skin had become pale and wrinkled. His black eyes no longer held the arrogance they had shown in the original ultimatum. Admiral Park, the alien leader said in a tired voice, I am prepared to discuss terms of surrender. I'm listening, Admiral Park replied. The Vexari Empire formally surrenders all claims to human territory. We will withdraw our forces from all contested systems. We will pay reparations for the damages caused by this war. In return, we ask only that you allow our people to live." Admiral Park looked around his bridge crew. These men and women had fought for 3 years to reach this moment. They had every right to demand revenge against the species that had tried to enslave humanity. "Your terms are rejected," Admiral Park said calmly. Kethmore's face showed shock and fear. Then what do you want? Total extermination of our species?" "No. We want something your empire has never offered to any species you conquered. We want justice." Dr. So-Young Kim, now serving as humanity's lead negotiator, stepped forward. Over the past 3 years, she had become an expert not just on alien biology but on alien politics and psychology. "Supreme Chancellor," she began, "humanity is not interested in becoming another galactic empire. We don't want to rule over other species or force them to serve us, but we cannot allow the system that created this war to continue." "What are you proposing?" Kethmore asked. "The complete dissolution of the Vexari Empire as a political entity," Dr. Kim continued. "All member species will be given the choice to govern themselves freely. No more forced alliances, no more conquered worlds, no more slave species. That is the destruction of everything we have built over millennia." "Yes, it is," Admiral Park said firmly. "Your empire was built on the suffering of other species. It ends today." On the planet below, war leader Vexthon met with the few remaining Vexari military commanders. His once mighty fleet was reduced to a handful of damaged ships. Most of his officers had been killed in the final battles of the war. "The humans could destroy our world from orbit," he told the assembled officers. "Their weapons are now superior to ours in every way. But they're offering to let us live if we accept their terms." "Why?" asked one of the younger commanders. "If we had won, we would have enslaved their entire species. Why are they showing mercy?" "Because they are not us," Vexthon replied quietly. "That may be why they won." The formal surrender ceremony took place on the UES Liberation. Supreme Chancellor Kethmore came aboard the human flagship with the few remaining members of his government. Admiral Park received them in the ship's main conference room, with representatives from all the liberated alien species present. "By signing this document," Dr. So-Young Kim explained, "the Vexari Empire officially dissolves itself and recognizes the right of all formerly conquered species to self-determination." Kethmore picked up the signing stylus with shaking hands. "I must ask again, why are you doing this? Why not simply take our worlds for yourselves?" President Hye-Jin Choi, attending the ceremony by hologram from Earth, answered the question. "Because strength without wisdom is tyranny, and wisdom without compassion is cruelty. We choose to be better than our enemies ever imagined we could be." The former Supreme Chancellor signed the surrender document. 3 years of war were officially over, but the real work was just beginning. Over the following months, each former member of the Vexari Empire held referendums to decide their future. The results varied widely. The Kalani, who had declared independence during the war, chose to remain completely autonomous. The Brithari formed a loose confederation with 3 other species. The Zephyrians, surprisingly, asked to join the human federation as equal partners. "Why do you want to join us?" Admiral Park asked the Zephyrian ambassador during the negotiations. "Because in 3 years of war, humanity showed more honor than the Vexari showed in 3 centuries of peace." The ambassador replied, "We have seen how you treat your allies. You do not conquer, you cooperate." 5 other species made similar requests. The Human Federation, which had started as just Earth and her colonies, suddenly found itself representing dozens of worlds across multiple species. Dr. Min Seo Park, the scientist who had developed humanity's hybrid weapons, established research exchanges between human and alien scientists. The technologies that had won the war were now being used to improve life for everyone. "Imagine what we can accomplish when we work together instead of fighting," she told a gathering of scientists from 12 different species. "The Vexari wasted centuries on conquest. We can spend centuries on discovery." General Dong Hyun Kang faced a different challenge. With the war over, how could the galaxy prevent future conflicts? His solution was to write a new set of military ethics that banned wars of conquest entirely. Any species that attacks another for the purpose of enslavement or territorial expansion will face the combined forces of the Galactic Defense Alliance, he announced at the first meeting of the new organization. The Galactic Defense Alliance included not just humans, but many of the species that had been freed from Vexari rule. Even some former Vexari worlds joined, eager to prove they had abandoned their old ways. 5 years after the war's end, Admiral Tae-Min Lee commanded joint training exercises between human and alien forces. Ships that had once fought each other now flew in formation, protecting the peace they had all helped create. "It's remarkable," he commented to his aide while watching Kalani and human pilots practice together. "The same species that were shooting at each other 5 years ago are now willing to die for each other." "Do you think it will last?" the aide asked. "As long as we remember the lessons of this war," Admiral Lee replied. "Power without restraint leads to destruction. Conquest without consent leads to rebellion. And any species that believes itself superior to all others will eventually discover how wrong they are." The final chapter of the war came at the dedication of the Galactic Council building on Earth. Representatives from over 30 species gathered to establish the new government that would replace the old imperial system. Ambassador So Young Kim, now serving as Earth's representative to the Council, gave the dedication speech. As she looked out at the audience of humans and aliens sitting together as equals, she remembered the fear and desperation of those early days of the war. "The Vexari Empire forced humanity into war believing we were weak," she said to the assembled delegates. "They discovered we were strong. But strength alone did not win this war. We won because we fought for something greater than conquest. We fought for the right to be free, and for the right of all species to choose their own destiny." She paused, looking directly at the few Vexari representatives in the audience. They had requested to join the council as observers, hoping to prove their species could change. "Today we choose to be better than our enemies ever imagined we could be," she continued. "Not because we are weak, but because we are wise. Not because we cannot conquer, but because we choose to cooperate. The age of galactic empires built on conquest is over. The age of cooperation and mutual respect begins today." In the years that followed, the former Vexari Empire became a cautionary tale told throughout the galaxy. A dozen different species had learned the same lesson. Never underestimate humanity's capacity to adapt, evolve, and ultimately triumph when fighting for their freedom. But more importantly, they learned that true strength comes not from forcing others to kneel, but from inspiring them to stand beside you as equals. The war was over. The peace would last as long as beings chose cooperation over conquest and wisdom over hubris.